welcome to the show. I'm your host, Derek Gerver, and this is RPA Master Stories, a collection of new and inspiring RPA technology and intelligent automation success stories that will open up your mind to proven use cases with solid ROI to inspire your next projects with the latest innovation. So let's jump in and learn what RPA and intelligent automation can do for us. Today, we have Jonathan on the phone. Welcome, my friend. Thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure, Derek. I'm always happy to be with you.
All right, my friend. So for the audience, please tell the audience who you are and what you do there.
So my name is Jonathan Roth, and my company is Roth Automation. I personally have been in this industry, well, in the content management or document capture or data capture industry for over 33 years. Actually, when I started, was selling microfilm equipment. So it's been quite a journey for me from microfilm equipment to RPA.
Oh, that's amazing. I could have a long conversation around the history of the evolution of those technologies. And the fact that we're sitting here is awesome, right?
Absolutely. And it's quite a history, and it's a transition. If you are someone like myself and you've experienced that transition, it's pretty cool, actually, to go. And back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, we were storing documents on microfilm instead of digitally. So it's literally come a very long way.
I love it. I love it. And the evolution and the capabilities of today, and for what we're talking about today, I don't know, potential solutions for the audience tomorrow. So for today's chat, please tell us more about what we're going to be discussing, the solutions involved and the industry, what the business problems are and why it was a problem.
Okay, so here at Roth Automation, we're a solution provider, and we work with intelligent document processing and all of the technologies that comprise intelligent document processing. And from my perspective and from my experience, it's not just one technology, it's not just RPA, it's several technologies that actually allow a customer to automate their business process from end to end. So when I say that, I mean there are other things like optical character recognition, which is very important, and the technology there has come an extremely long way, and we can talk more about that if you like, but also the process orchestration layer, the management layer that manages the process from end to end. So you, depending on the use case, depending on what the particular vertical is, you need to use the different technologies in the appropriate manner so that you automate the business process effectively. So when I say that, if you look at RPA, I always kind of refer to RPA as task automation, not process automation, because the software robot can automate a specific task, but you need to string a bunch of robots together to automate the entire process. And if you're not careful about that, you can automate one task in the process and cause a bottleneck somewhere else down the path.
You can automate the wrong thing 18,000 times in one click. Not that I've ever had to do that or undo that before, but for those who have been there, making sure you have a trusted advisor in your corner is step number one. But okay, so for today's,
absolutely,
for today's success story. So if you can share the client's name, that would be wonderful in the industry they're in. And then let's jump into some of those business problems. So let's break down an example where you found success using your technologies.
So actually, I can talk about two different examples, but the first one would be S&P Global, which is Standard & Poor's, and we have automated their accounts payable processing. And for them, it's a worldwide accounts payable. They are in many, many countries around the world, and we actually are accommodating 35 different countries and many different languages. And our solution basically automated the process by ingesting the invoice and extracting specific data, applying business rules, and integrating to multiple lines of business or multiple systems for data validation, data integration, and export to ERP. So that particular solution you had the process orchestration layer, had some OCR by lifting the data off the invoice. And then we use some RPA and some of the data integration perspectives on the back end.
I love that.
The other example I could talk about would be Bond Street Mortgage, which is a mortgage originator. And it's a very complex process, and there's a lot of moving parts in there. So there's all kinds of technologies we're using. We're using conversational AI on the front end. We're using process orchestration to manage the entire process from the first time a lead comes into their organization until the time that loan is closed and sold. And we process all of the documents and all of the activities along the way.
And when it comes to finding your way into intelligent automation, why was intelligent automation the choice in these different scenarios? Because like there are invoices, of course, and every company has invoices, but then when you push into those other areas, the workflows can become that much more complex and that many more layers of delivery and approvals, and trying to protect people's data in the process while automating thousands of processes at the same time. So how do you navigate that with the right technology and the right solutions in the right places?
Well, it's the most important thing or most important component in the process is accurately documenting the requirements and the process and what you're trying to accomplish. At the end of the day, what is it you want to accomplish? So one of our AP automation customers started off with a very simple OCR RFP. They wanted to just extract the data from their invoice. But then when they met with us and we presented our solution, they said, well, wait a second, we can do all this other stuff and all the workflow components. And we actually ended up replacing Ariba workflow in that particular customer because our workflow and what we do is we build it specifically to their requirements. We don't have a workflow system that's basically this is what it is and you like it or you leave it. It's we will build it to your requirements and your specifications. So it's very important that you spend the time defining the requirements and documenting them appropriately so that you know what you're doing and what you're building when you go in.
Right. And I think what's important too is that you always start in one place and then you go back in and you refine more. You discover more. You learn more about the tool set available. And so the different functionalities available to you and your company at Roth Automations, of course, you're trying to use the right technology in the right place to build the right solutions. But again, when you're implementing all these different vast technologies, you don't want to just throw everything at it first. You want to get started, right? So as you implement these solutions, what are some other things that the audience can learn from where we should pay attention as we get started in these areas and break ground for the first time?
Well, I'm a firm believer in taking baby steps. I'm a firm believer. You don't want to bite off take the whole cake. You want to take just a piece of the cake and start, then build from there, right? If you try and take too much all at one time or bite off too much, you're going to get in trouble. So you typically start off with a specific process and then you can go from there. And by the way, very often with intelligent document processing, the customer learns things along the way as you implement, and their requirements could change. And they see things, and a great example is what I referred to earlier, where this particular customer, once they realized the strength of the platform, the process orchestration layer that we were providing, that's when they said, okay, we want to go beyond just OCR and extracting the data. We want to now implement all of this very complex workflow, and the workflow is extremely complex because there's all different kinds of there's non-PO invoices, PO invoices, there's receipt tables and product receipts. So there's all kinds of different complexities within the process.
And when we talk about just in that one area, right? What are some of the measurable business outcomes we can discuss? ROI, cost savings, reporting numbers, KPIs. What was important to those clients that they found was most important to measure for success?
So very often, well, they all have different measurements for success, but one with an AP automation, they wanted to accomplish a high level of straight-through processing. They did not want to have to touch every invoice. And it took some doing it because OCR, image quality makes the difference. There's so many different things. Resolution of the image depends on where the image is coming from. So there's so many things that can impact the accuracy of that extraction. So then you spend time tweaking things and doing as much validation as you possibly can. So the data you extract you validate that data against a database or some other business rule that allows you to pass it through without anybody touching it. So their requirement was to get to the highest level of straight through processing. We accomplished, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 60% of their invoices nobody touches at all. 100% straight through processing in an invoice automation environment is extremely difficult to achieve. So 60% is actually very good. In the case of Bond Street Mortgage, for them, it was being able to process more with the same amount of people. So they have a very good staff and their business is growing. And rather than having to continuously hire and train, they wanted to be able to implement technology so that their existing staff could do more with just the people that they had. And they've accomplished that. We're a very firm believer in not necessarily putting people out of work. That's not what we do. What we do is we make them work more efficiently so they can do more with the people that they have and their business can grow. Or it gives them the opportunity to spend more time on more valuable work and activities as opposed to mundane activities, which is very relevant to RPA. RPA replaces mundane, repetitive human tasks. So somebody spends 2 hours a day aggregating data from multiple sources into a report that they distribute to management on a daily basis. And that's just mundane, trivial work, but that has to get done every day. We can configure a robot to go and do that for them so that they can focus on the more important things that they have to every day. And that report just gets done and it's faster and more accurate.
That's right. And I wanted to repeat it again because we're going to talk about it a lot on this show, is that RPA and intelligent automation are not people replacement tools. They're people enhancement tools. They're solutions that help you get more done. And so you could spend the time on the things that matter, put energy into building more relationships with your clients, not doing the mundane things that a robot can do. And we want to elevate the game so you're doing more things that you love doing in your job, not those other things that can be automated right now. Imagine that 60% of invoices off the table, not having to stress. It means I'm spending my time in the right areas for financial management, not looking at the smaller things, the bigger things that really need my attention. So I love that. So you gave us a 2-for-1, if you would, here. And I just want to know what's next for these clients, because I want to jump back into that refinement and that, I don't know, inspiration to search for more. Where are some of these clients going and what's next on the horizon?
Well, what happens to us typically is we implement a solution in one area and the benefits are recognized across the enterprise, and we end up automating other areas. So a perfect example is a customer I spoke with about 2 hours ago who is, we provided a solution for order processing. They get a lot of orders coming into their system and into their company, and they have people that have to sit down and key all those orders. Well, we gave them a solution where we take the order in, we extract all the relevant data, and we give them that data in an appropriate format to do an EDI into their order processing system. It worked so well and was so efficient for them that they are now looking at several other use cases, including AP, for full automation. It's a bigger project for them, but they saw the benefit that they gained from that one use case. In the case of someone like Bond Street Mortgage, for them, it is all about customer experience. So the first goal was, let's automate this process to become more efficient because we have all this work coming in and we don't want to keep hiring people. We're busting out of our office, means a bigger office, more people, more headaches. Let's try and do more with what the people we have. But then it's also at the same time, let's offer a better customer experience for our customers, right? Because then we'll get referrals, we'll get repeat business, it'll be a happier customer. So that's where the conversational AI component comes in, and that's been integrated to multiple systems so that experience, that the customer in contact with them can get a lot of information back very efficiently. So for every organization it's different. For some it's expanding to other areas, and for some it's just improving what they already have. And like I said, customer experience is huge, especially in the financial industry.
What I love
and
about our
insurance.
talks, yeah, these stories that are wonderful because I want the audience to understand this genuine, insightful, and helpful information is trying to get you to think about with all the extra time saved, where could you better look for that next step? And one of the most obvious places is using automation to better enhance the customer experience by building in more personalized experiences for everyone across their journey with you and their life cycle. So I think that's like so important to glue all that together is that it's using automation to fortify and build more genuine relationships where people are now more than ever in the new normal 2.0, 3.0, looking to cross their values with yours as a brand. Do I want to do business with you? And this is what I stand for. This is an excellent way to start breaking down some of those harder to, understand barriers at some point through the powerful tools of automation using data sets available. That's exactly what I hear. And so, Jonathan, you get me excited. Could you give us a couple names of the different technologies for the audience, right? If they want to go look it up or take some action, what would be some of the names that they should consider on your list there for what you talked about today?
And you're talking about like specific vendors, for instance?
No, it's different technology names, platforms, different
So,
ways
so
to get
we use
started.
a,
Yeah.
we use a specific platform that is, it's a developer platform, and it's a process orchestration layer that is very customizable, and it has a very strong API. So it allows us to integrate to many different systems of any kind, really. And then it also has a lot of different components, automation components integrated into it, like, for instance, optical character recognition, RPA, also electronic signature, customer communication, so that when, and as part of the workflow, again, back to the customer I spoke to 2 hours ago, in their order processing solution, the order comes in and comes in via email from their customer. We read the information from the email and we send an email back to that customer saying, we've got your order, it's in process. So it's, that platform and the products, the automation products that have been integrated into it allow us to do a lot more. And then because of the strong API, we've integrated some other technologies like conversational AI, like deep learning technology. So today, one of the greatest advances that we've seen, and I know RPA is the big name out there, it's the hot topic out there, but this deep learning technology is really amazing because when it not only reads the context, the text itself and the characters, but it actually reads and understands the content of the document so that it can make decisions like a human being and find data buried in that document. So we've been investigating and researching that technology, and we've settled on a couple of vendors that we like, and all they have is that technology. So we're integrating their technology into that process orchestration layer so that we can take advantage of their technology in the right solution for the right customer.
That's right. And to maximize on the benefits in terms of automation, gluing all the different types of technologies together in a uniform, seamless platform where data can freely transfer in a secure manner. A lot of words there, but yes, that is the pure harmony of digital transformation, right? So when I look at intelligent automation, RPA is just another big component of that, of course, but all of these technologies can drive each other for maximum ROI. So if you want to learn more, you make sure that you contact my friend Jonathan Roth, president of Roth Automations. Thank you again, my friend, for chatting with me for a little bit today and being on the show.
My pleasure, Derek. It's been interesting, and thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you again. Appreciate it. You look to him when you're looking for your next expert. And by the way, to stay up to date on the latest RPA technology and intelligent automation news, make sure to like and subscribe to RPA Master on LinkedIn. I've been your host, Derek Gerber, and this has been RPA Master Stories. See you next time.